welcome to Thursday Thunderdome, where once a week we take one topic and kind of roll it up in a joint and smoke it like a marijuana cigarette. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chris.
Greetings.
And if you couldn't tell from my very on-the-nose intro, we're talking about marijuana this week.
Ganja.
The weed.
Buddha.
Yeah, grass, I'm kind of out of things.
Grass, what are we, like, hippies from the 70s?
People
hey,
say,
man,
I feel like
you got any grass?
Grass? I don't know. I would just call it, I think it's called weed. I don't even like that. I think I like marijuana as a term better, but, I'm never just pass me that marijuana.
Well, no, it's pass me that joint.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, if you're not using a joint, you're using the bowl, or
I've never used
a bong.
Bowl.
You say you smoked a couple times, right?
I have, yes.
What? How have you done it? Was it only joints? Was it anything else?
Oh, God. Okay, so the first time.
Because the one where we discussed the crossfaded.
I think it was a pipe.
When you had your super cool party where you brought your own beer cooler because you're that guy in college.
Actually the second time.
Oh, that was the second time. Okay.
That's actually the second time. Okay, so the very first time that I smoked. So I was a teacher. Mm-hmm. And a fellow teacher. So we had this thing.
I thought you were going to say, and I confiscated it, and we're kind of
under the stairwell.
Yeah. you grabbed the economics teacher down the hall.
Yeah, and we're puffing up, Come back into the class, and the kids are like, Mr. Ballard, why are your eyes so red?
And you're like, please stop yelling. There's monsters everywhere. Nah, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so we used to, do the legal stuff, right? So after Friday, we'd have choir practice where we met at a local bar. And so we would go and we would drink. And one of the teachers
the
was
legal
also
stuff being alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol.
Okay. I was like, what are you talking about?
And one of my fellow teachers, another history teacher, she looked over at me and she goes, "Do you smoke?" And I go, no, I mean, cigars every now and then, not really. And she goes, "No." Looked me dead in the eyes again and goes, Do you smoke?
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, no, I've never done that. No." And she's like, "Oh, okay. I mean, if you ever want to, just let me know."
Now,
I was like, all right.
Other question. One, was she hitting on you? That's probably sexist for me to determine that. But two, were you hitting on her to go smoke?
Okay, so this is post-divorce.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of that flirtatiousness going on. Now, I'm a dummy when it comes to these kind of things.
All men are.
So
it's fair.
I feel like there was a little bit on her part, and I always found her, a little attractive.
Yeah.
Nothing actually ever happened in that regards, but she did tell me that she would if I wanted to when we were smoking.
Oh, I was like, where's he going with this? Fair enough.
Because it just kind of, I don't know. Okay, so
I don't know. You guys were smoking, kind of loosen up.
And this is how it happened. This was months later, where I go out with a friend, and we go to a bar, and we're listening to some reggae bands. This is in Denton. It's college town. Yeah, so you have all kinds of stuff coming through,
I like that you guys are like the whitest stereotypes in smoking, too.
So I order, my shot of Jameson and a Pabst Blue Ribbon because it was a $5 deal. It was great.
Gross.
And
first of all, for as elite you are as about beer, I am upset that you had PBR.
It's all about the price, man. That's a quick buzz right there.
I can respect
shot
that.
of Jameson and a Pabst. That's a quick buzz.
Also sounds like a terrible night.
So I text her and I'm like, "Hey, we're out over at Andy's. You want to come over and hang out?" And she does, and so we sit there and we hang out and drink for a little bit, and then after that she's like, "Hey, did you want to smoke?" And I was like, "Sure." That's why I texted you. And we end up just going back to her house, man, and we light up, and it was just kind of all right.
So so can you describe your time? Did you get high? Did you smoke a lot? Did you trip?
I got high. I didn't really trip. I just was calm.
That must be cool, because I have not felt that.
Just real calm, and I got a little hungry, and I don't know if my brain was thinking, "Ooh, stereotype, you should be hungry because you're high." And it was kind of harsh, so it wasn't quality stuff.
I was going to say, maybe it was a shitty weed.
It was shitty weed. I got hungry, and on the way home, I got some Taco Bell.
Yeah, when the volcano taco came out, I got really high and went and bought some. And my friend was so mad. He's like, "I thought we were gonna get those together." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I got really high and I couldn't help it. I had to go the volcano taco
I
from
had
Taco
to have
Bell.
it, man.
It was really good." And then you said the other time was at your
The
super
other
cool
times when I
party.
got crossfaded at the
Yes,
college
yes.
party that I went to after I was done being a teacher with former students.
Right. Now, what's that like? I've not drank alcohol and smoked weed.
It was the worst experience of my life.
Oh God.
I mean, I've been more recently just blackout drunk, and I can talk about that later. And that was pretty bad. But this was.
That's more like depression bad. Like,
Right.
I don't think you're like leading to like this cool time I went to a party. Like
No,
I got sad.
I was upset at a situation, and I drank a lot at a party. So, but this one, no, I was there to have a good time. I'm drinking my beer, and the problem is I would have been okay, I think, if I'd not had as heavy a beer as I had, because I'm drinking like IPAs. And
Yeah,
because
you brought your own in your
right?
cooler.
Yeah, I had to drink my craft beer, and then they
course.
pass around their skunk weed. And again, I think this one is just off of a pipe. It's not, a bong or a joint or anything that we're passing around. And I start puffing on that thing, man, and, maybe 30 minutes later, I'm feeling pretty good, and then 30 minutes later, it just hits me, and I just start puking.
Oh.
And I can't stop. I mean, I think I threw up constantly, just dry heaving at this point.
Oh, my God.
For like 2 hours. It was horrible. My body had a horrible reaction to it. So I'm not sure if there was something else involved in that weed or if it was just too much beer and then the weed. I don't know what the combo was, whatever. All I know is that was back in 2013, and I have not touched it since.
Yeah, I haven't smoked since college, and that was in 2011. It like, I just don't think it's my jam. I'd be down for trying it again. I was going to say when it becomes legal in Indiana, but fucking Indiana. Jesus, that'll never happen.
It's legal for medicinal purposes.
I don't have...
As long as the THC level is at the right amount.
Yeah. They're trying to like narrow it down as much as possible. I don't know if this is the first time or not, but one of my favorite stories was, I don't know if he cares if I call him out on the podcast, but Jimmy Nimbus, like... He smoked me. The first time I got drunk was with Jimmy Nimbus, and then the first time I got high.
What an influence!
I know, he ruined my life.
Such a good boy.
I know. Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Thanks for making our song. But our hometown college, which he had attended, and another good friend of ours I had mentioned the other week, they both went there, and it was it was like maybe 2,000 person college, but like. That college was like so hippie, and it was like great because it's like that town is so very, very conservative and racist and just all around terrible. My child's coming from there that I'm adopting, but whatever. But there's like this mecca of like people being hippies and just smoking weed and getting drunk like all the time. So anyways, we go smoking. I'm trying to remember if Jimmy was even there. But I was there like visiting him. I was like on campus with him, hanging out. Like I'm coming back from Purdue, and we went to this. They called it like this like a little middle of the woods kind of area. They called it Vietnam for some reason, and I don't remember why.
Interesting.
Yeah. But we go.
Were they hiding out from the Viet Cong?
Yeah, I guess.
Was that their code for the cops coming to get them?
I have no. I legitimately don't know why they called it that. Maybe Jimmy will... Again, I don't know if Jimmy listens to this. I hope he does. But, like, I remember going and, like, there's, like a small group of us, and, like, we had, like, a little, like, pipe or whatever. And then we just happened to be, like... Another group happened to come at the same time. I guess that's just, like, the spot to smoke there. So, like, there was probably 10 to 20 of us, as far as my memory... Probably more like 10. 10 of us, like, all, like... with a bunch of weed, just like passing it around, like smoking everything. I'm pretty sure this is my first time, but like, holy shit. Like I tripped so hard, and like I have tripped like multiple times on weed where people think it's laced with stuff because I'm like freaking the fuck out. But I remember us coming back to campus and someone had a bike with a bell on it, and they ring the bell, and I see like a ring from the bell just like emit. I'm just like, holy shit, what is happening? And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, did you guys see that? They're like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? Because everyone like else either was just chill or is like so used to smoking that they weren't buzzing freaking the fuck out like I was. But we go into the parking lot like leading back to the dorms, and there was like, I think there's a bunch of construction going on, and like it had like a trailer and stuff, and it reminded me of marching band. Like you said, you were in marching band,
for
right?
sure.
Like all the trailers and like everybody getting ready. I was like, guys, we're in marching band, and there's like, they called me Doy. So my nickname in high school, and then like everybody in Goshen College who knew me through James and Isaac, was Doy. It's short for doily.
Okay.
It literally means nothing. Thank you, Isaac, for giving me that nickname that has stuck for, I don't know, 15 years. They still call me that. Like that is my name to them.
Oh, I promise you, I will not call you that.
I don't care. Like it's my name. Like I fought it for like 6 months and I just accepted it, and like it's just my name to now. Like I respond to that name. But anyways, they're like, Doy, like shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, we're in marching band. You guys, we gotta get ready for the show. And like, they're just kind of looking around. They're like, what the fuck is happening to this guy? And I remember us going like into the dorm, and like another of my friends who was smoking with us, he started like pretending to like have a gun, and he's like kind of like doing like a spy thing, like dodging around. And I'm like, oh my God, he has a gun. Like I'm like
I was gonna say, did you actually see a real gun in his hand?
No, it was his hand. It was like I didn't see it. Like I like visually he was not holding a gun, and I understood that, but like my brain could not process his little finger gun was not a real gun. So he's like dashing around. I'm like, oh my God, like, and I like I start like freaking out a little bit, and like I go meet. Okay, Jimmy wasn't there then. Jimmy and my other friend Isaac. Again, I hope they don't mind I get called up, but deal with it. Sorry. Like I get to them, I'm like, he has a gun. I don't know what to do. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like losing my mind, just kind of like freaking out in general. I'm like, no, he has a gun. He has a gun. And they're like, no, what? Like he doesn't. And then they would just like, they were getting so annoyed with me that they just like stopped moving, just like didn't respond to me. And I was like, oh my God, they turned into statues. And I start like freaking out even more. And they're just like,
are you sure you weren't on acid?
Dude, I've smoked.
It's gotta have been laced with something.
No,
right?
no, I've smoked.
Everybody smoked the same.
Yeah. And like I'm the only one doing this, and like I have another story ready, like the same situation where people think it's laced because I'm freaking out. But like, and they're just like, what is he doing? Like I don't get it. And then at one point, the guy that had a gun, he actually had an airsoft gun later. Like it was empty, and he shot me in the back of the head. So I feel like the air press, and I thought I died. Like I felt all the blood come out of my head, and I just laid on the floor silent for like 10 minutes because I thought I had died. And they're just like, and
did you have an out of body experience where like you were standing over?
No,
yourself
I was dead. It was all black. That was it. Like
okay,
I was just there. I was dead. And like, there's a picture on my Facebook. I think I've shown it to you, or at least posted it like our Slack channel, where it's me sitting on a couch screaming, and like it's my favorite picture because it's very clear I don't know I'm being photographed. I'm like losing my mind. I'm like red in the face, is like screaming for some reason. But yeah, that was like I'm pretty sure that was my first time like smoking weed. My other favorite time was
amazing.
Yeah.
It's just pure gold.
Oh boy, I get messed up. My other favorite time was the only time I did it at Purdue. A friend of ours and my former roommate, like we all went to like my former roommate's girlfriend's now wife's house, and like our friend smoked us out, and like we did everything, and like like we were all like giggling and shit and like getting silly, and my roommate's wife, her dog comes up to me. And like I have a lighter in my hand. It's not lit. It's just like a little big lighter. And like it's not lit or anything, or nothing's happening with it. And I poke it at the dog. I don't touch the dog in any way. I just burst into tears. I thought I killed this poor dog. I'm sobbing hysterically that I killed this poor dog. And like the dog's just like wagging its tail, like looking at me like, what's wrong with this person? And everyone's like, what the fuck is happening? The person that bought the weed, she's like, oh no, is this fucking laced? Like, oh, this is gonna. I got it from my brother, and like I didn't know. I didn't think it was gonna be laced or anything.
Her real brother.
Yeah. Not her sexual predator, fictitious brother named my father's name. Last week's episode for everybody who doesn't know that joke. But yeah, she bought it from her brother, and I am bawling. Just like I probably have never ever cried that hard, and then. I stop crying, and I look at the dog, and the dog's moving, and I start freaking the fuck out, and I start screaming zombie dog. Like over and over again, I'm screaming zombie dog because I don't know what's happening. This dog came back to life.
And you're looking for your Thompson. machine gun to blow it away.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I'm just like having like a full panic attack because this dog came back to life that I killed that didn't die, and is like freaking the fuck out and
Not
like
hanging out,
no, but like,
green ooze
but
coming out
again,
of
like
his
I don't
ears.
have like visual hallucinations other than the bell, but like. I like my eyes recognize this dog is okay, but my brain cannot bring to my eyes the message that like, hey, everything's chill. You need to calm the fuck down.
So you're not a paranoid. Well, maybe paranoid.
I don't know. It's not paranoid.
just-
Like I think I get very highly emotional. Where it's like I do these weird peaks and valleys of like I am bawling hysterically to like swing to like laughing uncontrollably, and it's like it's always a trip when people smoke with me.
So
It's
is it worth it for you to get high? That's my thought. It's like you go through this whole peaks and valley thing where I'm like, I would just sit and chill on the couch unless I'm throwing up because I'm fucking crossfaded.
right.
You know? So, but you're all over the place, man.
Yeah, it's like it's super emotionally exhaustive. And I don't know. I think later as I smoked more, it wasn't as bad.
Maybe you got used to it.
Maybe, and like, but I was still like really stupid. Like I remember I fell between like a bed one time. And I couldn't stop laughing because I got stuck in the honey pot, and there's like, Doyle, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I'm Winnie the Pooh. I got stuck in the honey pot.
I talked about being Winnie the Pooh because like, I'm Winnie the Pooh. I'm stuck in the honey pot. And I kept like slipping farther and farther between like the wall and the bed. And there's like, Doyle, you're fucking messed up. I would definitely be down for trying it again. I think it's weird, like, once I'm out of college and I'm trying to be not more professional, but like I'm trying to make sure I don't get fired from my job. I know like my
sure.
job specifically is like very kind of hard on weed and everything like that. I work in like a plant though. But I think I would try it again. I think it's been enough years for me to like, maybe I need a good cry, hysterical laugh session just to get it all out and see what happens.
Sure, why not?
Because that shit was like so weird. But now it's like it's so different because in college it wasn't legal anywhere unless it was like medical or something like that.
Right. I think maybe California.
Yeah, that I was gonna say
No.
like maybe California. Like even then, I think it was probably still just medical, wasn't it?
For sure. Yeah, recreation did not happen until more recently. I mean, I know when I was in
Colorado
college,
was 2012, which like it's like I can't believe it's been fucking 7 years. Like
right.
it still feels like it was like 2 years ago.
No, I mean when I was in college, it was not legal anywhere.
Because when did you graduate again?
04.
Okay. Yeah. Especially like then, like, and I'm like, every year gets like a slightly more progressive until 2016, but whatever. But like it seems like weed keeps like every year more and more people kind of like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, so I mean, here's my like it's legal recreation in a bunch of states. I mean, and a bunch being a relative term, right?
Well, I mean, though I see like a list that you wrote
Colorado,
down.
Oregon, Washington, Michigan, Maine, Vermont.
Yeah, like there's way more than I thought. I knew about some of them, but your list is basically double what I thought it was.
Yeah, and it's actually legal medicinally in most states. Now, medicinally being again a relative term, and
Right,
the fact
highly
that
controlled, and like I'm sure
THC's got to be a super low content amount, but
yeah, so it's not fun.
no, there's no good
literally just
times
medicine
here
at that point.
But no, like it's only absolutely prohibited in 3 states.
Oh, what are the 3 states? Do you know?
Idaho.
sense.
Let's see. Looks I get these states mixed up
Hold
because
on,
they're all
hold on,
basically
hold
the
on, hold
same.
on. I'm gonna guess. Idaho. You already told me. Mississippi.
No,
Really? Okay. My third guess is it's all like southern states. Alabama.
no. It appears
Wow.
to be South Dakota and Nebraska. That borders South Dakota, right? That's right.
Yeah, it's north, south, Nebraska.
Yeah.
North
So
Dakota,
there you go.
South
So those
Nebraska.
3 states,
Huh. Okay.
which I find interesting. I did not realize it was only totally legal in 3 states. I thought it was going to be legal. I mean, illegal in more states than that.
Yeah,
I
same.
really assumed my home state of Texas would be on that list of totally.
Yeah, I feel like
illegal.
they hate weed but love alcohol.
So, I mean,
That's so of like you're not wrong.
well, there's a couple of hotbeds, right, in Texas of
like-
liberalism and progressivism.
Well, like Austin's pretty
Austin
liberal,
is
right?
huge, yeah. I had a friend,
about this
back in the day,
fucking
getting in an
Houstoners?
argument with me about Austin being this huge, like, bed of conservatism and everything. And I was like, you are insane. It is the liberal capital of Texas. And then if you go down to the border, it's a lot more progressive and liberal.
Right.
You know, then Houston and then Dallas are pretty progressive and liberal. So, I mean, pretty much run by Democrats, which, great, it should be. You know, we need to have some of that in every place. You know, you need to have, you know, the yin and the yang, right? It's the yin and the yin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my point with that is you just have to have different ideologies to come to something that actually, you know, everybody can agree on. But the whole legality thing, I struggle with it. So
why?
Growing up, no, here's what I struggle with. Growing up in Texas.
Yeah, let's get this. Because you are, again, you also, like, I believe in, like, a very, like, probably very tightly Christian household.
Oh, sure.
You get to church every Sunday. And
rule your kids with an iron rod.
Did you guys do, like, Sunday best and, like, dress up for Sunday?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, a little bit, but I eventually started breaking away from that. And I wear my Converse and jeans and a nice shirt. You know, but I still like, and I mean like a button-down nice shirt. So I was able to get away with that. But the whole thing is, you grow up in a place like Texas or the South, or just even a conservative part of California, and you're told weed is the gateway drug to hell. You know, it's like,
I didn't know you were going to go straight to hell. Jesus.
I mean, it's like you gateway with weed, and then all of a sudden you're wanting to try new things like cocaine and heroin and crack. Smack, crank, you know, whatever you call all this shit. I think I just named one drug 5 times, right? You know, but that's what I was brought up on. And so I struggle with, in a sense, in that way, because I just have this conditioning from
this
from
mentality that you
right?
were basically told this your whole life. And
yeah. But what I struggle with now is, why should it not be illegal? I mean, it should be legal. It's
stupid. Like, it's all just like power and money. Like, people can keep other people down by keeping it illegal, like black people. Like, that's like the arrests for black people in for-profit prisons. Like, it's like 4 times as likely as anybody else for just like having weed and like not even a lot of it. Just like, I don't know, like an ounce probably. No, an ounce is a lot of weed. I feel like
that's a fair amount.
Yeah. But like so like an eighth or something like that. And like, they'll get arrested quicker than like I could fucking like smoke weed in front of a cop's face in Indiana. And probably
do much.
They probably like, hey, fucking put that out. And if I didn't, maybe something would happen.
Oh, sure. I mean, and I guess right now we're both drinking.
Yep.
We have alcohol in our hands.
Podcast juice.
You know, for sure. Yeah. We need that, right?
Yes, exactly.
Alcohol is legal.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol will inebriate me. It will get me to a point where I am impaired and I can't drive, and it's illegal to drive.
Yeah.
Drunk, right? But people do it all the time, and it's essentially, it's, you know, it's manslaughter, right? It's almost murder to drive and kill somebody.
Well, because like, it's only not murder because it's not premeditated, right?
Right, because I didn't premeditate, I didn't plan to do this. I drank and then I drove and I made a mistake, a bad mistake, a horrible mistake. Right. And I think that's the thing is, okay, so we're going to allow people to drink themselves into a stupor, to drive drunk because we don't have strict enough laws on it, in my opinion. You know, why not legalize weed?
Yeah, and like, I really don't understand.
It's more mild. It wears off more quickly.
Yeah, and it's less addictive.
Oh yeah, and like it's very low addictive rate. I mean, like, cigarettes are the most addictive substance we have on the planet. You know, that's legalized anyway. Right. You know, obviously heroin and cocaine could possibly be more addictive. I don't have the numbers, but like, weed is like so low on that totem pole of being addictive. It's insane.
Yeah, and like, I don't have the research to back this up. I didn't really look into it, but something I had like heard about or read about one time was like the bootlegging process for alcohol and like bringing weed and stuff is like, if you like trace back the history, like alcohol was more a white man's game and weed was more like a black man's game, and not very shockingly, alcohol became very legal, and then everybody kept weed down and all that. Even though like Native American Indians were like doing that in peyote and stuff, and like it's been around forever just to be part of the culture. And like, I don't want to like make the comparison like it grows out of the ground, but like it grows out of the ground. Like, it's weed, like it's there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the stuff that we make beer with grows out of the ground. Yeah. You know, I mean, it is the way I look at it. And okay, so Christian upbringing, God put it on this earth for us to enjoy and consume. So he also, the first miracle that Jesus had was turning water into wine.
Right.
So my whole thing is, okay, we're told not to be drunkards. We're told not to drink in the church. Yet one of the first miracles was turning water into wine. God put on the earth all of these plants that are safe for us to consume, but might have an effect on us. What's wrong with doing that a little bit? As long as we're doing it in a controlled way and we're not doing stupid stuff on it, not murdering people.
Yeah, most people just fucking hang out in their basement and can't get out of the basement because they don't know where the fucking stairs are. Or cry hysterically when they kill a dog when they think it's dead, but it's not.
When they poke it with a lighter. Don't even touch it
with
the
even
lighter.
Touch it. Yeah.
I was an inch from your face. How did you die?
No. But like the argument for no weed is always my favorite. Or like don't legalize it. It's like, well, it's bad. It's like, why? It's illegal. It's like, make it not illegal. Alcohol was illegal for a while.
It's bad because it's illegal, so
right.
legalize it. And then
make a shit ton of money.
You have again, I don't know the numbers, making shit up. A third of the prison population can be let go because they were busted
it's probably
on
higher than that,
busted on weed, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, so the whole 3 strikes and you're out concept, right? Mm-hmm. So you get busted with weed 3 times and then your life in prison. That's essentially how that law works. And there are people who go to prison for a long ass time because they got busted with the right amount of weed and their skin color.
I was going to say, and smoking weed while black is the other issue.
Right. And the founding fathers, from what I remember from my alternative history books, they even grew it.
Yeah.
They brewed their own beer. They grew weed. They smoked. People consumed these things because they were good.
Yeah. And like the effects of like alcohol versus weed is like, if you want to like level the playing field, they're basically the same thing, but in reality, they're not. Like, alcohol is way worse for you than smoking weed.
Oh, sure.
Like we already talked about, like it's way more addictive. It causes way more problems, like domestic abuse and driving and all that. And like you really don't see that on weed, but it's everybody like stuck in this idea of like it leads to all this other bad stuff, and it's like, it just kind of leads to smoking more weed. That's about it.
There's all these misconceptions about it, and I'll tell you, the propaganda behind it, man, is so good.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure it's funded by like
time.
I'm sure it's funded by like some higher corporation trying to keep it all down because like the war on drugs is very profitable, and like
okay, so would it surprise you if you were to find out one day that the alcohol industry is funding anti-weed campaigns?
I would be shocked if that wasn't the case.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Or same thing with like tobacco industries.
Sure,
like because they want to keep selling.
They want people to keep buying cigarettes, which are extremely bad for you. Extremely bad. But
fuck, like caffeine's more addictive than weed. Like caffeine is like the most legalized drug on the planet.
Oh, for sure. And you get a little bit of a buzz off of it.
And
it's not
you
high.
literally get withdrawals. Like you're like, I haven't had caffeine in a couple of days. Like I have a crazy headache now. It's like, don't drink that shit. That's crazy. That's insane to me.
Oh, you want to know? Okay, so I probably drink an entire pot of coffee on my own every day.
That's insane. That's so much.
It's bad.
I don't drink caffeine. I just don't. And it's not even like I'm an overweight man. People who know me. Like I'm overweight, but like isn't that like I really only drink water at this point, other than like the occasional like alcohol beverage that I have. Like I don't drink soda or anything. It's like I don't have any fucking problems. I go to sleep at normal times and like I'm awake during the day. Like it's very easy to get addicted to that stuff, and I'm sure it's hard to stop. Like I'm sure it's part of your ritual now too. So not only is it like an actual addiction, it's you wake up like gotta have my pot of coffee. Like it's part of your like routine.
That is the first thing I do in the morning. I go we set the coffee on a timer at night so it's made when we wake up.
Oh wow.
So I go downstairs, I pour a cup of coffee, and then I come up and then I change my son's diaper.
Wow, coffee first. So are you one of those like don't speak to me before I have my coffee?
No,
one of those people?
No, I'm fine. And if I need to, like if he's usually like keep in mind he's usually asleep still when I go get the coffee, but if I need to, I'll definitely be able to function without it. I might have a headache later in the day.
Which is crazy. That's so insane. I choose
to avoid the headache. There was a point I actually switched off of coffee. I got off of coffee, and this is when I was working like super early mornings at JCPenney. I was having to wake up at like 5 in the morning to be at the store to unload trucks, right?
Oh, I remember doing that at Walgreens.
Yeah. But I had made a lifestyle change as far as what I was eating and drinking and putting in my body, and lost a bunch of weight, slimmed down some, switched over to green tea. So I still had some caffeine, but not the amount that I was drinking. I would drink like a cup of green tea. And that's all I would do. And it's like I felt better. I had less headaches.
And what happened to you now?
Like, and then I just started drinking coffee again because it tastes so good.
Does your wife drink coffee?
She does.
Okay. What kind of coffee man are you? Black, cream, sugar? I feel like you're a black coffee drinker.
I am.
I knew you would be.
So I'll put a cup. Now I drink half and half. I do like it black, but that's usually only on the weekends when I make. Okay.
Hey, why is it different? For the people who can't see me, I just made a weird face because like that's like a weird treat. You think it'd be like the other way around. It's like I need like the strong shit in the weekdays, and then like on the weekends, like I'm gonna have my little splash of half and half, like a little like caramel macchiato, or like I don't know what the fucker drinks. I don't know what coffee shit is.
Well, definitely not. I'm not making a homemade caramel macchiato.
I don't know. That's probably good.
So no, what I do on the weekends is I have special local beans that I make and I make in a different system. It's a pour over. It's a Chemex.
Okay, so
different filter, different coffee. So on the weekdays, it's our bulk cheap coffee.
Right? Is this instant stuff that you just?
No. It's still whole bean.
God, I'm so sorry, Jesus.
But I put a little half and half in. I fill up halfway with coffee, and then we have an espresso machine, and I put a shot of espresso in it.
So you make it more caffeinated?
Yeah, God. I do.
Okay, tell me about your bullshit elitist coffee on the weekend. I assume you grind your own beans and do all that?
I do. I have a hopper downstairs. It's got the beans already in it. It's a burr grinder.
It's shocking we're friends.
But it is locally purchased coffee.
That's good. Yes, we talked about it the other day.
Indie Coffee Roasters. Okay. Shout out again for them. If you're in Indianapolis, go there.
Thank you, Indie Coffee Shop. I'll never go to.
Fantastic. So they have tea as well.
Well, what's your flavor then? They're all kind of fucking roasted in some super bullshit way.
I like Guatemala beans, and their Guatemala blend is called San Antonio. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I picked up that bag of coffee, I bought it because I'm from Texas.
That's a huge bummer. What's the coffee that the animal shits out? Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the gorillas?
Not the gorillas. It's like some kind of like pseudo cat weasel animal that like
it's Blue Mountain, Jamaica Blue Mountain, I believe is what it's called.
Is that what it's called? Because it's
I think so.
It's like they'll eat the coffee beans, and it's like as they consume it and digest it, it'll actually change the like chemical properties of the coffee bean. And when they shit it out, people go and harvest it, and it's really expensive.
Yeah, I've had it before, and I'm pretty sure it's Blue Mountain.
I have no idea.
I'm probably.
I'm out of my coffee realm. Well, you might be full of shit if you are drinking this awful coffee.
At any rate.
Yeah, where were we on this podcast?
Legalization of weed, man.
Oh yeah, I went down the coffee road.
So we do have. Well, you're right. I mean, but the whole point of that is we have legal stimulants. We have legal depressants. We have legal ways to medicate ourselves however we choose to feel a certain way. I can go take sleeping pills right now and knock myself out over the counter.
Yeah.
No big deal. Nobody
Absolutely.
cares, So, but again, that is sold by a big drug company.
Yeah, and if they legalize weed, they'll probably lose money.
For sure. I really think, alcohol is going to lose out. So when I was a teacher, this is one of the arguments for legalization that I just absolutely cannot stand.
Okay.
That it's going to pay off our national debt. Guys, here's the deal.
Debt? No.
That's $18-ish trillion. We are not going to sell enough weed and tax it enough to pay off our national debt.
Yeah, because I think the revenue for Colorado definitely hasn't hit $1 trillion yet in the past 7 years.
No.
It's in the billions though, isn't it?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think it's in the billions.
But you're going to have 1,000 billion to get to $1 trillion.
Right. Man, they definitely won't, but like, I mean, it creates more jobs, it makes things safer, it lowers arrests. 100%. Like, I think the argument would be for paying off the national debt. Obviously, it will not pay all of it off. It's impossible with that. But it's not just the taxation and like revenue of weed. I think it's kind of everything around it. Weed is like medicinal. Like it helps with a lot of things. It's very good. Like not very good for your body, but like it helps with a lot of pain. So that would like lower like some like I'm sure drug costs if we can like exonerate and stop arresting people for weed. That'll save us a ton of money.
Oh my God! I mean,
So
you could probably cut the prison budget in half.
right, but again, for-profit prisons like they don't want that. That's a whole other thing. But I assume that's probably the actual. Maybe they don't understand that's the argument behind paying off the debt with that. And again, it wouldn't happen that way, but it would save us a lot of money in America overall.
There are ways where it would definitely benefit the country financially. No doubt. You're going to have another taxable product. You could put the tax high.
Yeah, and people are still
going to buy it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's really, if you legalized it, the price of the product drops, right? Because it's no longer, you have to go through these channels to sell it, right? I don't have to, import it from Mexico and then, ship it across and, the cost of getting caught or anything like that. Like that all goes away, right? So now it becomes an affordable product that you can then tax. And then you can take that tax revenue and apply it to the national budget.
Or just like, not even the national budget, just more schools, like put more money into that. And like,
that's where it would go. So you put it in the national budget, which then now you can say, okay, we're going to tax this and then we're going to earmark all of the tax revenue from weed, from marijuana, and put it towards education.
But and people still don't want that. There's like maybe not protests, but like
I don't want marijuana funded public schools.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you talking about? Like if some fucking homeless crack bum came up and gave you $20, you would still fucking take it, you loser. Like don't fucking shout that shit out. Like I don't understand like this idea of well, it came from marijuana, so I don't want it for our schools. Like even if it made your school 10 times better for your child, like, that's the most fucking ridiculous thing. It's like, hey, do you want your kid not to have school debt? Like, let's just fucking make the tuition free as we tax the shit out of marijuana.
Do you think that gambling is addictive?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Do you think gambling is a problem that people have?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Do you think that gambling could be perceived and seen as a bad thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The lottery in Texas and probably most states that are the lottery that's funded by the states, the Texas lottery, was originally started and designed to help fund public schools.
That's funny. But and people don't complain about that.
But we don't care about that because I want to win the $54 million jackpot.
Right. And so I'm going to spend, I don't know, $1,000 a year not winning versus like...
I'm going to dump money in.
Yeah, but I don't want the drugs to... The dirty drug money to like help my kid out or me or whatever it may be that could help this nation be slightly better.
Well, hey, Wanda, let me tell you, the dirty drug money you don't want funding your schools is only dirty because it's illegal. If you legalized it, it would be clean.
Yeah, exactly. And
I just want to grab Wanda and slap her.
Yeah, it's just I don't get that argument and like and they can never back it up, of course, and they more just get angry and defensive. It's like, okay, like there's no point in debating anything like that because people get very stuck in their ways and it's hard to like change people's minds.
Well, I just that's one of the things I struggle with mightily is why do people get so stuck in a train of thought and are not willing to consider another opinion, to be open-minded. People will tell you all the time, oh, you just need to be more open-minded. I mean, people on both sides, right?
Yeah, and then neither of them are
and
then
neither of them open-minded to the other side, and it's like, give me a fucking break here, guys. Like, open your mind and actually consider the other person's opinion and thoughts and the facts behind the argument. The facts are that weed is not that bad of a thing and should be legalized.
Yeah, you really want to blow somebody's mind? Like, have them debate you on something and then think like, oh, actually you make a really good point. Maybe I need to rethink my thoughts. And they just won't know what the fuck to say.
No, they'll shut down. It's like the overload, don't know what to do.
Yeah. It's like, oh, like, I never thought of it that way. Like, that makes a lot of sense. And people are just like, oh, like, what the fuck is that? One, I have those conversations all the time because I'm dumb as fuck. So like, so like, I'm just like, yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. Like, that makes a lot of sense.
No, I enjoy it. Okay, so back in Texas, I used to debate a fellow teacher who was extremely liberal, and at the time, I was very conservative.
I was like, you were conservative like when I first met you.
Yeah, not like this.
No.
you know.
Of probably.
But
Thank God you met your wife, man.
well, so we would go back and forth at these choir practices after school, right?
Did you guys just call them choir practices?
did.
Is that like code in front
That
of the
was
kids?
code, yep.
Yeah, like,
Yep.
oh, we got choir practice. And I'm sure everyone's like, we know you guys are going drinking. Like,
Well, we also would send it out in an email.
okay.
So we did not want to send out, hey, I want to go to the bar.
Well, so when was the concert though? If you're in choir practice, I assume you're practicing for something. Like, when's the concert?
I mean, I'm sure the administration knew as well. We just didn't want it to be the words.
Right, I'm sorry. I did keep going.
But our friends would always be like, how are you two able to sit and have a beer and actually talk about politics? You're so vastly different in your views. It's like because we agree to disagree on some things, but then we've also decided that, hey, you know what? Maybe you do have a good point and I should listen and consider it.
Right, because it's fun to debate and shit. Like, fuck, like, you, me, and our friends, like, we'll argue fucking over movies all the time. Like, I hate all their favorite movies. They hate all my favorite movies. We're still friends. Like,
and I like both sides. So
right, yeah.
I just tend to like more things, I guess.
Right. I mean, we've argued plenty about movies too, but like, but people take probably too many things too personally, and like, I mean, it's obvious, it's very easy to do, and like things can get heated, but it's just like, I don't know, like. You're gonna be your way, and I'm gonna be my way, and obviously some things, maybe like white nationalism, shouldn't be so much.
That should be nobody's way,
right? But
that's just
things
wrong.
Is like if you're conservative and you're not a white nationalist, like, hey, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, at the time, most of my conservatism was all around finances,
right? And I think you're probably still like pretty conservatively fiscal.
I want to be fiscally responsible, and I think that's a very relative and loose term. Mm-hmm. Fiscally responsible just meaning let's be smart with our money.
Right.
I don't want to spend money on things we shouldn't spend money on, and we should spend money on the right things. We've been going into national debt for a long, long time, and we're still the largest, most powerful country in the world. We got the largest economy in the world, so I don't think it's really hurting us that badly.
Until China buys us out.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Trump has anything to say about that.
Yeah, we'll bomb him first, right?
That's right. We're gonna nuke the sons of bitches.
Yeah, I wonder if he's ever done like CBD oil or anything.
I think he might have because he's got to be in pain.
Yeah, the fucking amount of hamburgers he puts down his gullet.
Oh my god!
And like, first of all, he's probably done like coke and a bunch of shit like that.
He has. He's had a hooker at his penthouse at Trump Tower.
Yep.
And done coke off of her chest, her butt.
Yeah, anything for sure.
Something.
Yeah, but like CBD oil now is
between his toes.
Yeah, just the fucking monster. But like CBD oil is like it's such like a big thing now, and it's basically like marijuana light.
Well, yeah, it's got the same properties for pain relief, depression and anxiety, and a few other things without the psychoactive, aspect.
Yeah, and
so like you could take it to help calm down, or to help with any anxiety you might have about a situation, or same with me. But then you're not going to hallucinate and see the rings coming off the bell.
Yeah. You're not going to think you're actually in Vietnam.
You're not going to think that you poked a dog and it died.
Right, and like I know plenty of people that use it. Like a lot of my family members use it. I have like friends, family like members that use it all for like pain relief, and it kind of like helps you with like stress and anxiety, like we just talked about. Like I know people that use it, and like even obviously it's legal, but it's just like weird to see in Indianapolis where it's like downtown. They're like, hey, like there's a CBD shop. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, there's one right around the corner from my house.
Yeah, like you were talking about that before the episode.
And it's when I saw it, and I realized, holy shit, that's what that is. Okay, great. So there's some things I don't know if just by omission or whatever, I just tune things out. And I've been going to this plaza to going to the fucking Starbucks.
Going to Starbucks. Where's your fucking indie roasters, man?
I know.
You gotta be grinding your own beans and your Guatemalan whatever the fuck.
Yeah, you got it.
I was close.
But I noticed the other day there's CBD shop right there. And it was like, wow, that's just right there next to my house.
I'm trying to think of where it is.
It's no big deal,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like Trump actually signed an order that allowed it to become more widespread. I looked for this news and I can't find it, so I'm going to go ahead and say that it's fake news.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say like actual fake news.
Like, yeah,
yeah.
I don't know why that sticks in my head that he signed something, but I swear to God, I read a headline or something, and it was probably him criticizing it.
Probably. Well, I mean, he always holds up the things he signed so everybody can see it.
That's right. That's right. He's like, look how great my signature is.
God. But I like CBD oil is like becoming like a much more widespread thing, and it has a lot of good health benefits and like all kinds of like I know like you said like a bunch of athletes use it, right? Or maybe not even just CBD oil, but like smoke like marijuana to like again not just to get high, which I'm sure is a fun side effect, but like that's like pain management.
Yeah. No. Okay. So I'm a Cowboys fan, Dallas Cowboys fan. Go sports ball.
Yeah.
But there's a player from the team that actually just retired.
Troy Aikman.
And that was a long time ago, buddy. David Irving. And I know you don't know who that is, but he recently just retired because he'd been caught too many times smoking and was going to continuously face suspension. So he decided, fuck it, I want to keep smoking. I've already got some money.
Good for him. That's awesome.
He retires from the NFL, and he has this. I didn't watch it, but he has this whole tirade that he goes on, like on Instagram or Twitter or something, talking about it. And the whole thing is, I mean, the NFL is really the no fun league because they do random testing, and if you get caught on your second time, you get suspended 2 games, and then it just starts doubling up from there, 4 games, 8 games, and then the whole season.
But I mean, you can beat your wife or girlfriend or get a bunch of prostitutes, but weed's bad. Got it. And sports is cool.
And the thing is you can beat your wife or prostitute, and we're not going to do anything unless there's video footage. Right. Exactly. There has to be. Oh my God. We got to do something now because we got in the elevator. Yeah. And oh God, we had that. Don't let them know we had that video.
Yeah, fuck. Now we got to do something. But you smoke weed the one time, you're out. Get the fuck out of the game.
That's really kind of where it's at. I
Sports
appreciate.
Is good.
Okay. So here's the NHL. They're like, you have a very low amount in your system. We don't care.
Yeah, they're just like, let's fucking fight it out on the ice. We don't give a shit.
And the thing is they don't care about it.
Right.
It has to be a super high level in your system, like you smoked and then they had you pee into the cup, right?
Right.
Like it's literally the highest level it could be at, and then they'll care. The NBA, Adam Silver, the man in charge, the dude, right? The commish.
Mr. NBA.
That's right, Mr. NBA. He's come on record and said that he thinks it should be legalized and that it shouldn't be banned in the NBA, but they're not going to do anything in the policies right now. They're just not really going to care if somebody tests positive.
Right.
They actually started testing more recently and found this interesting because players are complaining about other players being high on the court.
I wonder if that makes you better or hinders your... I would assume it would hinder because I assume you have probably slower reaction times, but like maybe you're just not as stressed and it's just
I think it's more of you get a little relaxed, maybe a little ahead of time.
Right.
By the time you get on the court, like
you're not like taking like a huge pull right before you go out on the court, but more of like probably maybe a couple hours before.
What they didn't tell you is the smoke coming out for the arena. That's actually just a bunch of
yeah. They're all just like smoking on the court and like turn the basketball into a bong or something. Yeah, but and like I'm sure all that's really helpful. Like my cousin, he played for the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah,
hockey team. I can name a hockey
go
team.
Hockey.
Yeah, and this is back in like probably the early '90s. But like I know he went and played like for some Germany league. Like he went overseas to play. But like he like fucked up his back pretty hard. And like I don't know if he was smoking weed or not. Like I don't really talk to him, but like, I'm sure that would have helped or have been helpful when he like really fucked up his back and had to stop playing hockey.
Oh, sure. I mean, and that's the whole reason why these guys smoke, man, because it's playing professional sports is hard on your body.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, these guys are forced to retire at 35.
Yeah, at like
unless you're Tom Brady and you're going at 40, 41, but like he's the exception to the rule, right? Like these guys get beat the hell up.
And he's also not being the one that like does a lot of the like physical stuff, but like physical like being hit. Like he doesn't get hit. I assume if he's a good quarterback, he does not get hit that much.
A fair amount.
But I'm talking about like offensive and defensive linemen who like their whole job is to slam into another 400-pound person.
Right. It's like they're running up against brick walls the entire game.
Or like because the quarterback throws the ball, I'm like, all right, running back, you're gonna go get fucking taken down. Like enjoy that. And they have to deal with a lot of stuff because I'm sure they do like the cryo freeze stuff and like hot tubs and I'm sure like weed's a big part of it to like help them.
Oh,
Like,
sure. Well, it raises some interesting questions for leagues that are so NBA, NHL, MLB are all U.S. based, right?
mm-hmm.
Weed's illegal in the United States,
Right.
federally. Some states have allowed it. Canada just legalized the entire country for recreational purposes.
Yeah, was that 2019 or is that 2018? It's
within
very
the last,
recent.
Within the last few months,
Right.
is all I can say. But when you think about it, what is that going to do for the sports leagues? Because all three of those leagues have teams in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now what are they going to do with their policies? Well, those are also the three leagues: Major League Baseball, the NBA, and NHL, that have the most lax weed policies to begin with.
Right.
You know, so like the MLB will only test if they have cause. So if you're just smoking and you're a good dude and they never know, they never know.
Right.
Right? They test
Not
more for
including, I'm sure,
performance
like
enhancing.
a lot of those athletes. I say a lot. I don't know what a lot is, but like like they've done like cocaine and shit like that too. Like when you have a bunch of money and you're young and you're dumb and like, I'm not like it's not even saying anything towards that. It's just like it's just kind of inevitable. Like a lot of people are like brought out of poverty for sports and like think of like Mike Tyson. Like he like threw away all his money because he didn't know what the fuck to do with it, and like he was probably doing a bunch of shit too. And like he's just like some big kid that was good at fighting, and he became like a multimillionaire and like pissed it all away. And like who knows like what other sports members are doing that.
Oh, troves. I mean, just tons of them. They actually have educational classes when people come into leagues now.
Well, that's good.
You know, this is how you handle your finances.
Good.
Because
good.
these you're talking about, I mean, like MLB, you get drafted straight out of high school.
Yeah.
NBA, 1 year of college. You know, NHL, you go through leagues as a child, and then when you're done, you're not even in high school anymore. You just get drafted in the NHL when you're 18.
And obviously they changed it. But
Yeah.
how old was LeBron? I can't even speak right now. LeBron, how old was LeBron?
He was 18. He came straight out of high school.
Okay, did he finish high school?
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I thought he didn't.
No.
But,
He
they changed
finished
the rule
up.
where they had to go to college at least, you said, a year?
I believe the year after they drafted him, they changed the rule where you have to have 1 year of college. And now they're talking about changing that again because the NCAA is fucked up anyway.
Right.
You know, and like there's players in the NCAA who should be getting paid, you know, because they bring in so much revenue for the schools. But that's a different story for a different day.
You talked about that on sports.
You know, that's a frustrating thing. But, I mean, legalize it, man. Just make it a thing. I mean, it's
Even if you don't want to smoke it ever, it is like, it is so much free money. It's just like sitting there.
yeah.
It's like seeing like it's like a big sack with a dollar sign on it that says like for you, and you just like I don't want that. And you just dump it down the sewer and call it a day.
I actually invested in because there's a company traded on the stock market that grows and sells weed.
Right.
I invested in it because I'm like, in 20 years, that investment's going to pay off because it's going to be legalized. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. Like
right, and like I'll be surprised if it's not on the 2020 ticket. Like legalization of weed is like a big thing.
Oh, 100%.
I'm really surprised it wasn't talked about more.
2016?
Yeah.
Or this past congressional election.
2016.
Yeah. I don't think it's a big enough issue right now. I think eventually it's going to be. Like, there's going to be enough states that legalize it that they're going to have to do something at the federal level. Like, it's just going to be a requirement that they do something.
Right. But it might not be a thing if, like,
the 20 states.
A bunch of old white men, once again, are running for president. And, like, maybe if we get somebody younger or not white, like, that might be a more, like, progressive thing to campaign on.
Even old white men have to capitulate at some point.
You would
on
think.
Things. But it happens whenever they're already so far behind that they look like they're flip-flopping at that point, right?
Right, exactly.
So, I don't know. In talking about this, it makes me wonder, okay, I know what my parents did when I was growing up and how they handled everything, and it was very... They didn't talk a lot about drugs. They didn't mention anything to me. We never had any conversations around it. Alcohol, they had it in the house, you know. My dad let me try a beer every now and then.
I was gonna say, like, what was your like drinking situation?
But it was very much no. You can't drink until you're 21.
Right. But did your dad and mom like, were they like a glass of wine at dinner or like only on the weekends or special occasions? Like, what were
Every
they?
day.
Every day.
Oh yeah, busting out the the Canadian whiskey and having a glass of that and then having a beer. You know, my parents will drink a fair amount. You know, I mean, they're not drunks or alcoholics by any means.
No, but they drink like you and your wife. Like,
yeah, sure. I mean,
like I usually when I see you, you're having some kind of alcoholic beverage.
Yeah. I drink three things. I drink water, coffee, and beer.
Right.
So
you're the perfect man. Your body's a temple.
It sure is.
But like, how did your parents, like you said, like no alcohol until 21? First of all, did you follow that? And two, like, did they ever bring up drugs or like how to drink or how much to drink or that kind of stuff?
No, there was no conversations around how to handle it, how much to drink, when to do it. It was just this understood rule of don't drink till you're 21. Part of that stems from my religious background. The other part of it stems from my grandfather drank himself to death. Mm-hmm. Like as he was dying in the hospital, my grandma was bringing in a flask of whiskey for him. So knowing that I never got to know him and that's what caused it, I really held off on drinking anything. And I really chose myself to take a very responsible approach to it. So I didn't drink until I was 21.
Well, so you
like
actually
on my own.
Yeah. You were never drunk or buzzed until 21, I assume.
I was actually never drunk, like proper drunk, until I got divorced.
Wow.
So like 26, 27.
Yeah, so like you kind of skipped like the whole like college partying phase.
Yeah. That did not exist.
Because I guess really like in college you turn 21 kind of later in college. Like that's
you do. Yeah, you spend
you go to college
18,
at like
19,
18,
20.
right?
Your first 2.5, 3 years of college, you're underage. But there's a lot of drinking done in college.
Yeah. Because I had like no interest in alcohol. I mean, my parents drank, like, my mom would have wine, my dad would have beer. Like I talked about in like our first episode, my dad gave me a sip of beer when I was like 6 or 7, and I'm like, that's good. I'll never need to drink that shit again. But because freshman year, I didn't drink at all. I was like completely uninterested in it. I don't really know why. I just didn't seem interesting to me. And then the first time I got drunk with Jimmy Nimbus, and we got drunk on Grey Goose. Like again, like I shouldn't be. That's not the first drink you go out. Like you drink something really shitty.
The first time.
We drank out of a measuring cup. I remember that very specifically.
Nice.
But
got a little spout at the end.
It was like no, it was like a measuring cup of like it was like a cup. Like the measuring cup of 1 cup is what we drank out of because I think that's all that we had. But then I was like, oh no, drinking's actually pretty fun. And then I mean I drank a lot in college. I did like the party scene. Like my junior year I turned 21. I met my now wife. So like that whole year is also why I took a 5th year in college because I failed pretty hard that year. But I had a lot of good time. It's probably my most fun year.
I mean, there's something to be said for that, right? Like I think it's good to fail at things in life. Mm-hmm. And I always had this pressure on me to not fail. And I feel horrible when I feel like I'm failing at something and I have to like redirect and do something different. But, who cares? Okay, so you took an extra year. You're fine.
Yeah.
You turned out all right.
It probably worked out in my favor. It was like I got to meet the people I got to meet, and I am where I am today, which I'm very happy with. And yeah, it's
everybody's story is unique, but so it makes me think, what are you going to do with your kid?
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Like, I think I'm going to let them drink in high school. Like, obviously I'm not going to be like, hey, like, let's light up 5
here's
shots.
Your 24-pack.
Let's light up some shots and call it a day. But it's more of like, I want to teach them to be responsible with drinking and like that drinking is okay. Like, it's kind of like abstinence only, like education, like that shit never works. So I'm not gonna be like, you don't ever drink until 21. Like they'll probably go get fucked up when they're 19 and get in a car wreck or something. It's more of like, hey, like if we're at home, like I will make a drink for you. Like it's okay to drink. Like don't like everything in moderation, even moderation. Like is always like a pretty good motto. But I would introduce that to them in high school just to show like, hey, like this is okay to do. I like and like I don't drink a lot at home now. Like I the most I drink now is we started this podcast. I now drink at least once a week. But and then occasionally I'll have like a drink on Friday or something, or if I have friends over, like we'll drink. But it's not like I have a drink every night or even every week. But I think I would honestly like I'd do at least once a week to show them like, hey, like it's Friday, I deserve like a little treat, and like I'll make my little Moscow Mule, and like I'm sure they'll hate that shit because I'm sure no kid likes that. Like that's a weird.
No,
thing
they're
to
gonna
drink.
want to drink beer with Uncle Chris.
yeah. And then your son's gonna come over because he's tired of watching sports, and he's gonna hang out with me.
Can I come read some comics? And have Moscow Mule?
Dad wants to watch the fucking Cowboys again. But I think I would talk about it in high school and like show them like it's okay to drink and like it's okay to have it on occasion, and because like if I tell them no, or even if I show them how it is or what it's like, whether or not they're gonna go do it. Like it's like a bunch of my friends were drinking in high school. I don't think I really hung out with that crowd. And like again, nothing against them or anything. It's just not something I was interested in. But like
same. I mean, that was me.
It's super easy to get alcohol. It's not that hard. Like and it's like I'd rather just show them like, hey, it's okay to drink. Just be smart about it. Like honestly, if you get drunk, like call me so you don't drive home. Then I'll fucking tear into you later. But like. It's something like I want to show them the responsibility of it, and hopefully they're not like trying to kill themselves drinking as much as they can.
I mean, I'm going to take a very similar approach, I think. Now, of course, I have not talked too much about this with my wife.
Same.
But we have
she's listening to this podcast, so she'll never know.
We have talked a little bit about it, and I think we're pretty much on the same page of, okay, we're going to introduce it to him and maybe have some drinks around with him. I'm going to make sure that he's fully aware of what's out there in the real world. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for him. And it's going to follow the same rule of if he does want to go out with his friends and he drinks and he gets to a point where he can no longer drive, he needs to call me.
Right.
And to be okay doing that. Like, there's not going to be judgment. I'm not going to get on to you. Just do not drive drunk.
Be smart about it.
Be responsible. And if we can be responsible with it, then I'm going to be a lot more okay with him experimenting a little bit along the way.
Because really the punishment is when they're hungover and you're loud as fuck making like eggs and shit, like smacking the pan
that's
around.
Right.
Like,
that's right.
That's the real punishment.
I'm going to come into his room with a skillet of bacon crackling.
Yeah.
Banging on it with a metal
good morning.
spoon.
It's noon.
Wakey, eggs and bakey.
And I mean, I know obviously we just talked about alcohol specifically a lot during this. But are you going to bring up like weed or anything to your
No,
to your son?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring up, okay, so weed is something that exists. It is now legal because I truly believe by the time my son is old enough to have consciousness about these things,
yeah, because
your son's
6 months?
7 months, yeah.
Yeah. So like we got 16 plus years until like you probably actually bring it up.
When he's 12, he's going to be super aware of it. I could be wrong. I don't know. Man. I mean, I don't know what 12-year-olds do these days. I mean,
play Fortnite.
I was shooting frogs with a BB gun or some shit, right? Like,
yeah,
the kids are probably getting high playing Fortnite now. Like you said. I mean, as soon as he's old enough and he asks me questions about those things, I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm just going to have a normal. If he's asking the question, have a goddamn adult conversation with him.
Yeah, because like, no, you can't do this because you're not old enough, or like that's just gonna make them fucking want to do it more. Like,
right. You tell somebody no, they want to go do it.
Yeah, and like my parents, I don't think they've ever talked to me about like drinking or smoking or anything. I think one time, I was 19. I haven't started drinking yet. And my mom, like on New Year's Eve, was talking to me and my brother. We were just like fucking chilling, watching TV. And she's like, it's like New Year's Eve. And she's like, remember, do not go drinking and driving. And we just kind of look at her like, yeah, we fucking know, Mom. Like, we're not dumb. Like, what the fuck? And it's just like, that, she like left and like to go do her like whatever she was doing that night. And it's like, remember, we looked at each other like, that was really weird. And then like, I think I was home before midnight that night. And like, because it was like snowing really bad, I was like, I need to go home. Like I don't need to be here anymore.
I'm not drinking, but it's snowing.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, peace.
But I don't know. I mean, I think you probably win more as a parent if you were just open and honest about all of that. We talked. Casey and I talked about, okay, what about cussing? Like we cuss a lot on the podcast. Oh my God,
I'm gonna swear so much in front of my kid.
Like I already cuss in front of him. We both came to the agreement that okay, if he cusses, that's fine, so long as he understands and he knows his audience.
I think that's the same way I would take it. Is like, I'm cool if you do it around me. Obviously, I don't have the kid yet, so I don't know. And like your kid's not speaking yet, but it's like, just know when to do it.
Right.
Like if we're at home, like cool. If you're in front of like my in-laws or at school, like, hey, chill the fuck out, and we'll figure it out then.
Right, and I'm going to take, I think, that same kind of approach when it comes to substances, alcohol and weed. What other drugs might be legalized, in 16 years?
Yeah, don't do cocaine. That shit will melt your brain.
The cocaine, yeah.
The cocaine, yeah? Yeah, no.
So, cocaine derived from the cocoa plant. Like
Shut up.
You can't just get high off of the fucking leaf, right? Like, you have to process it with gasoline to actually turn it into cocaine.
Yeah, but that's into body fuel, so everybody does that.
You know.
Yeah. He just said a line. That was weird. I don't know where it came from.
You know, just sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Woo!
Yeah, the podcast is we drink our podcast juice and we do a line of cocaine, and I'm gonna end the show now because fuck this, because we don't have a cocaine bed.
Starting into a party.
Yeah. Well, as every week, I want to thank everybody for listening to our podcast Thursday Thunderdome. I want to thank Sarah Lichty, who created our logo and did our graphic design. She actually did the design for your wife's photography business. It looks very good.
Casey Elaine Photography.
Thank you. I didn't know all three words. I knew some of it. Casey Elaine Photography she did the photos for our, we had a little photo shoot when we started the podcast.
Yeah, we sure did.
You can find those on Instagram and Twitter and stuff too. I think it's somewhere, and I think Facebook as well. But she's very good. I don't know her rates, so I don't know what it costs, but you should check her out.
Reasonable.
There you go.
Reasonable
Again,
rates.
Casey Elaine Photography. But if you want to see Sarah Lichty's design on that, you can find her either at Casey Elaine Photography or at sarahlichtydesign.com. I want to thank you to Jimmy Nimbus for getting me drunk and getting me high and doing
the song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess I should.
That's
Yeah. I only wrote drugs and alcohol here. But yes. Thank you, Jimmy Nimbus, for doing our intro and outro music. That song is called "Top Off," and you can find it on jimmynimbus.bandcamp.com.
Because he's topping off his glass.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay, man. I hope he fucking listens to this show. I think he's too cool for us. But please check him out on Hotel Records, which he's also a part of. I believe he is coming out with new music soon. I think I saw pictures of him in the studio, and him, Isaac. Isaac was I think he's called Slick Rock is his rap name. He's also on Top Off. But you can also find us on Twitter at Thursday T-Dome. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Thursday Thunderdome. If you want to leave us any comments, questions, topics you'd like to hear, just general questions, you can find us on either Twitter or email, and the email is thursdaythunderdome@gmail.com. And finally, you can find all of our shows on all your podcast platforms like Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, and Apple Podcasts. It's not Google Play either; it's Google Podcasts as well.
Okay.
Yes, but on Apple Podcasts, if you like to go rate, review, and subscribe, that helps our show a lot grow. We should probably start doing shout outs on that. If we get a new one, or really go through our backlog. I know I shouted out one of the reviews the other day.
We should, yeah.
But we should start doing that. Let's do that next week because we do not have that pulled up right now to do. But just putting that in the future. But yes, again, please go do that for us.
Help us out.
Yeah, it helps us out immensely. Every review and rating we get helps us grow the show. Tell your friends and family if they want to hear two white guys talking about getting high a lot and one crying over killing a dog that didn't actually die or was ever hurt in any slight way.
But turned into a zombie nonetheless.
It was very scary. Yeah. But yeah, again, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great night.
Thanks. I know. I always feel like as soon as we hit record, I need to start saying something, but it's we don't need to. That's what editing's for. We can just ease right into it.
No, that's actually one of the things I'm always okay, I'm gonna hit 1, 2, 3.
And we both do it, and we're both oh yeah, we don't need to do this yet. Every time it's okay, let's roll into this. Right, yeah.
It doesn't have to be this whole I think of Wayne's World, where the guy's counting down and it goes 5, 4, and it's silent 3, 2, 1.
Right.
And then he points.
Yeah, I need to actually watch that movie.
You do.
I don't think I've seen it all the way.
It holds up. I say that I haven't seen it in 15 years.
Oh man, I was thinking about Wedding Crashers today. How bad is that movie? I haven't seen it since high school, and I loved it in high school. But thinking now is I bet I would hate that movie.
There's one scene that I remember from that movie because it came out so long ago. Is all the naked women falling on the bed.
I was gonna say that scene, and then the scene where she jacks him off under the table. That scene is very funny. But I bet watching that, I would just fucking hate that movie.
There's just some stuff that doesn't hold up.
Yeah. It was good for its time. It was good around that era and how old I was, and it's I bet that movie sucks. Okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.